Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Pitch Report. I'm Amilcar.
And this is Mr. Leo.
Yeah, shocking to hear another Mr. Leo cameo here.
Yeah, I think Mario was still embarrassed, so he didn't show up this week either.
I mean, I don't know if he should keep doing that. It just gives us another opportunity to just keep talking smack about his teams.
I mean, I'd talk smack even if he was here.
That's a fair point. You just wouldn't have the mic, you know?
Yeah.
The platform to keep talking smack about him.
I'll just throw in a bunch of comments on Instagram about it.
There you go. Now we know.
He blocks me.
Yeah, there you go. You can just hide behind your keyboard. I mean, I think regardless, he's lucky that it is it's international break, so that he doesn't have, Man U playing or Barcelona playing or any other team that he could potentially have playing that we can talk smack about.
Mexico.
Oh, yeah, but see, that one would hit home to you, too, so you probably wouldn't want that one.
Well, I'll talk smack on him right now, too. It was embarrassing, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, but I guess speaking of the international break that we were talking about last podcast, which was a couple days ago, honestly, it feels like a long time ago. We were talking about the Under-20 World Cup, and just do you want to give us an update on what the Under-20 World Cup looks like, kind of who's still in it, who's out now?
Yeah, so just a quick recap. Spain lost to Colombia 3-2, unfortunately for you.
Yep.
Argentina beat Mexico also, unfortunately, 2-0.
For you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they were overall the better team, just from watching some of the clips and a little bit of the game, they were better.
Mm-hmm.
Again, unfortunately, USA lost too to Morocco,
Man, any team that we can follow potentially.
Yeah. And then France beat Norway, so they're moving on. Morocco, France is going to be a good semifinal, and Colombia, Argentina. That one's going to be good too.
Yeah.
There's some beef there. There's definitely some Gold Cup beef there. So I think some of the youngins are going to try and step up, But
honestly, the Mexico-Argentina game was pretty feisty too, wasn't it? Those were red cards at the end.
Yeah, we got a couple red cards at the end. I think those would have happened regardless, dude, honestly. Just that rivalry is pretty big. But yeah, so there should be good semifinals. Morocco and France should be pretty interesting also, just because I feel like a lot of those dudes are interchangeable, honestly. So
honestly, yeah, and I think we were talking about this. I don't know if it was on the podcast or if it was just otherwise, but about how many players now are choosing their the countries their families from, not where they were born. So I think France is the perfect example of a team that a lot of them are from African nations or for example Morocco or other places like that, and they're starting to pick Morocco or African countries to represent.
Yeah, it's the same with Mexico and USA, really. You have a lot of dudes that are of Mexican descent, but they're playing for the USA team or vice versa,
Yeah, and I think the interesting part about this outcome, it's going to be France, Morocco, which is kind of like Europe. You could say Europe adjacent because Morocco's so North African, and then you also have the Latin American, Argentina, Colombia. So it's both two different sides of the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be interesting. It should be pretty entertaining semifinals.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully it will be as exciting as we think. But I think we kind of talked about it a little bit last week about how these guys seem like they have a lot more passion for the game than some of the kind of senior players.
Yeah, to an extent, right? Because they want to show off. This is one way for them to be watched by scouts and whatnot. So those dudes are definitely putting out and making it interesting for everybody to watch them, and they're very passionate about playing and making a name for themselves. So.
Yeah, and I guess speaking of the senior players, it's also international break, not just for the Under-20 World Cup people. There's also I think I saw Under-21 Euros as well, and then there's World Cup qualifying. So that's also an exciting one. Wanted to go over kind of who's qualified for the World Cup so far, and kind of get your thoughts so far on that. Or I guess first let's start with the odds. I guess the odds is the biggest thing that I've been really interested. And our sportsbook, FanDuel Sportsbook, thank you for sponsoring. Just kidding, not sponsoring us. So right now,
shout out.
Yeah, right, exactly. A little plug.
Yeah.
If you want to sponsor us, at underscore pitch report. But right now it has Spain as the favorites. It's Spain, France, Brazil, England, Argentina, Germany, Portugal. So that's kind of like the top five. To me, I think it kind of makes sense. The only one that I think is interesting there is Brazil. I think the way that Brazil has been playing the last couple of qualifying matches, and like their most recent cups, they've been pretty poor, honestly, pretty poor form. Even post Ancelotti, they've gotten a little bit better with Ancelotti now.
Yeah,
but I feel like still they're not in great form. So for them to be like third highest odds to win the World Cup, do you think like it has like history playing a role here, or is it just like their individual talent's so good that they're just assuming that they're going to figure it out?
That's tough because like the last couple of years they haven't really done much. Like even like in like tournaments where they're usually like very good, like I think Gold Cup and whatnot, or a couple of the other ones, but they haven't been good at all. Like it's been pretty embarrassing, and it's just crazy to think that I think we were very spoiled with like some of those historic like Brazilian teams. They're like it'll never be like that. Like those were like dynasty teams, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had literally the best player at every position, or at least top two, top three, like best players in each position playing for Brazil, like in the late 2000s, early 2000s, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty interesting. I think it just has to do with a little bit of like the history, and some of the names that are in the team, but like they're very well like individually, like you said, but maybe collectively they're not like necessarily meshing well. I think England should be top three. Like we should probably bounce Brazil down, switch that up, and then I'm surprised that Argentina isn't ranked a little bit higher, you know, just because they are the most recent winners, right? They're the defending champions, so like I don't know. Overall, like it at the end of the day, it won't mean anything, but I think favorites for sure. I think it's Spain, France, and Argentina are gonna be the top three favorites.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
like,
I think
just like basing it off of like, well, Argentina, they're defending champs, right? Spain, they won their Euros, and then France have been in the last two finals. Mm-hmm. So that's just kind of what I'm basing it off of, and then I guess maybe England is correctly in fourth, but like they're such a good team. Like like Harry Kane this season has been unstoppable, and he keeps that pace through like next year's World Cup. Like that dude's a menace.
Yeah, I think that it is interesting. Obviously, like you said, I think it's still pretty early to be, making the big decisions on who's actually going to win it. Obviously, these are pretty early odds. But yeah, I think Spain, France is the obvious one. I think it really just plays into like they think Brazil's going to figure it out. Honestly, like they have just like on paper they have way too much talent. To not figure it out.
And with Ancelotti, like he usually gets the best out of players, especially younger guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and their team is really young. That's another good one. Another good point. Like Estevao, he scored I think a goal.
I think a brace or like he was.
And he's all super solid. I think he's like Chelsea. I think signed him.
Yeah.
Really young guy, but I think the same thing could be said about England. I think England and last World Cup, I think we said the same thing. Or last Euros as well. Like I think they have such a star-studded team, but then like does it work well together? And they clearly like I think leadership was a big thing, and that's why they got rid of the head coach last world after the world. No, it was after the Euros. I think after the Euros, they got rid of him because they were supposed to win it. / at least be in the final. That didn't happen.
Honestly, I think they kept him around way longer than they should have. Like I think he had like a pretty decent win streak, but like it wasn't like they weren't like dominating teams, dude. Like games that they should have been like easily, like, you know, like in Spanish you say like caminando, dude. Like it should have been a stroll. Like they weren't like necessarily like being like the strongest side per se, but
yeah, and I think they ended up losing. Yeah, I mean they lost to Spain in the semis, which I guess you could argue that is like a fine team to lose against the eventual winner. Like it's probably okay.
And that was probably their best game too, out of that whole Euros.
Yeah, because then they had like they had tied against one in PKs against Switzerland, in the quarters. So and they had a pretty rough Euros. So yeah, I think that's just like a perfect example of like another team that has really, really good talent on paper, but then it doesn't necessarily pan out. And I think Spain's had those teams in the past too, where it's like, God, the team just looks so good.
Yeah, and one of the dudes that I think that like could have changed that for that team, like, and he changed, like, he scored almost every time he came in as a sub, was Cole Palmer, dude.
Oh yeah,
like he's so disrespected in the national team. Like that dude should be like him, and like at least him and Bellingham should be like the dudes you build that team off of, like, and Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Like other than that, like you build around them, and then because you have really good players everywhere, but like those three dudes are like difference makers in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he carried Chelsea through like the Club World Cup. Like he played very well, and like in general, like the dude's a stud. Like that guy's literally cold Palmer, dude. Like that guy's just chill. Like, you know, like he's not pressured under any situation.
Yeah. Something I also find interesting, I think I want to hear your take on this one. Like, U.S. being ranked right above Croatia and not ranked, sorry. The odds are U.S. ranked above Croatia, Mexico, Morocco, Colombia. Croatia, I get it. Like, I guess the home field advantage is going to have some play, but being ranked higher than Mexico and way higher than Canada, like, that's also kind of an interesting take, especially seeing how they've been playing as of late. Even with Pochettino, they're still kind of, I feel like, struggling to figure it out. Sure, they made it to the Gold Cup final, but like they're really struggling.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, those odds really don't mean anything. But I see it's a good talking point just because like I don't think they should be ranked above Mexico or Canada, especially after the Gold Cup that like Mexico just won. They won the Gold Cup. They beat U.S. and they beat Canada. So like at least that should be kind of like in line. But
yeah,
also think like I don't know. Did you say Mexico is above Croatia, or is it just USA, Croatia, Mexico, Canada?
Yeah, exactly. It's USA, Croatia, Mexico, and then I mean Canada's way further down, but there's Denmark, Morocco, Colombia also really far down. Switzerland, Japan, Norway, then Canada.
Yeah, so like, I think I don't think Croatia should be under either one, Mexico or USA. Like that's just like
hey, Madrid's like last hurrah.
Yeah, but I don't know. But yeah, I think also Pochettino has kept his job a lot longer than he should. Like, and I think they're just trying to keep him like at least be consistent till the World Cup, which kind of makes sense. I think they're just kind of stuck in that like if we fire him now, like it's almost too late to bring somebody else new and like try and come up with a new system. And even though the system's not working because like USA does have good players, you know, like obviously they're like Pulisic is like playing very well this season, so like you're building off of him and he's your guy, right? But obviously it's not working out whatever he's deciding. And then but odds wise USA should be lower. Canada should definitely be above USA just because of this last Gold Cup. And
yeah, completely agree. And I think a lot of these teams that we talked about at the top, they haven't even qualified yet. So let's talk about like the qualifiers we have so far. Obviously the host nations, which is Canada, Mexico, US. And this one's unique because I feel like a lot of the times one of the host nations, and now it seems like they're doing usually 2 or 3 host nations. I think after this World Cup, it's going to be Spain, Morocco, Portugal, I think is the next World Cup. So like because they've made it so much of a bigger pool now, I think it's 64 teams.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's like it's almost like it's harder to not qualify than it is to qualify now. So they obviously made it in. They have the Asian teams, so like Australia, Iran, Japan, Jordan, Qatar, and I know Iran is interesting there because I know that a lot of people like their visas aren't getting approved for the U.S. So you know that's I guess a topic for a different day. Talking about that. The African teams have also already been decided. Algeria, Cape Verde, Ghana. Ghana's always a fun one. Ghana's, I feel like
Ghana, dude. Those, what was it? Was it Germany or no? It was South Africa. I think they made it pretty far. They got eliminated by Uruguay or something. Like I remember that. Like that was exciting, dude. I remember like I hated Luis Suarez mainly because he like his
the handball.
the handball. Yeah, so you have that. He like bit Chiellini during the same freaking World Cup, but yeah, dude. Like I remember he got a red card off that handball, and then they missed a penalty. And like, gosh, dude, like it'd been so satisfying just because of like his actions, right? And like, dude, Ghana, like you got to cheer for the underdog, and they were playing really freaking well. Like they were playing really good.
Yeah, I think that's one of those like core memories that you like never forget. At least like watching that match and be like, "Holy crap!" Like this guy just handball, and then he's like, they always show like when he's walking down the tunnel, they miss a penalty, he's just like going crazy.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, it's I guess it's a smart move. Like the odds of it working are so slim.
yeah.
But it worked out for him, right?
Yep.
The one that I find interesting, obviously that hasn't qualified yet, is Italy. Do you think this is the year that Italy will finally get it together? For those of you that don't know, they missed the last 2 World Cups, but they won a Euro Cup in between the two. Do you think this is the year that they qualify?
I hope so, just because of the history with that national team. You know, like dude, like it's sad that like literally they're World Cup winners, and they
4 times.
Yeah, and they haven't been able to qualify in 2 of them in a row, potentially 3. Like. And they have a really good team, dude. Like, you know, like you have the best goalkeeper, you have one of the better like defenders too. Like I don't know the secondary, but Bastoni's like one of the best ones in the world also right now. Probably top 5 to top 10 easy.
Defenders.
Yeah.
They have Calafiori too, right?
Calafiori. You have why am I blanking on his name? He's a left back, but. He scored a golazo recently too, like in the last couple of months. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. He's got blonde hair, but he plays for Inter. But anyways, besides the point. Like you have a lot of like great Italian players, dude, and like you just can't get it together. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully they make it, and but I think even if they do make it, the odds they're gonna be probably sitting next to like Japan or Egypt or something down there.
Actually, I think they're pretty high. Funny enough, like, you know, we're big odds guys, you know. They're like right behind Netherlands, above Uruguay, Belgium, US. So
yep, I just saw the Vegas Insider. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy on this one. They have USA and Mexico right next to each other, above Croatia.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. But so far it looks like they've secured at least like a playoff spot for the World Cup. Obviously, like the qualifiers aren't over yet, but they're currently in second place behind Norway, which is also another interesting one that we can touch on. Is Norway potentially this is the year? I think we touched on a little bit a couple weeks ago. I think 2 weeks ago at this point about having Martin Odegaard, having Erling Haaland, and them not making a World Cup yet. Like this could also be their first World Cup.
Their first World Cup, yeah. So should be interesting. I mean, it'd be really cool to see them. Like, so, excuse me. Some of these like Norwegian players are very good. You know, like you mentioned Haaland, Odegaard. There's a couple other ones that are like not as popular, but they're like really good, and they play like in the Italian league or in the Premier League. So like, it'd just be cool to see that, especially like dudes like Haaland. They should be in the World Cup or like have some games in there. Like I don't know, like he's a world class player, you know.
Yeah, and the interesting part of having all these like young players and stuff, it's like, is it too many young players? Like I think having a balance is obviously something that's critical. But not having the experience on the team, like with Spain, they have probably one of the youngest teams. But I think you have like some of the history. So like some of the players, coaches have been there, done that. And then, you know, like for like what Norway, for example, like they haven't made a World Cup in some time, and having all these like really young guys that haven't really won anything. Although like, I guess now Holland won the Champions League. So maybe that'll be the determining factor. But yeah, not having a balance, for that. And it makes you wonder if like, maybe if not this year, is it going to be like the year, 4 years from now?
Yeah, that's a good point for sure. I think it could go either way. Like, I know for me, like growing up watching like the Mexico national team, like having those dudes that had been there before was really important. And then you see other tournaments like Spain and the Euros, like a lot of those dudes had never played in a Euro Cup and they won the whole thing, right? So it's just I think it varies. I think it also depends on how good your team is. And obviously Spain, like all around, they were like through like as a collective, they were a very good team. So like I guess with Norway, you could say like they have like a decent team and you have really really good players, but they can't carry you all the way through a tournament, you know?
Yeah. And speaking of calling up veterans, something that I thought was kind of wild was Memo Ochoa getting called up for like the friendlies for Mexico. You're shaking your head, which I think is really funny. What are your thoughts on that? He got called up for the friendlies, and I was reading here that like his goal is he wants to play for the national team, or maybe not even play, but like he wants to appear there for the World Cup this year. I think that'll be his 6th World Cup if he does.
Yeah, I think if he does go to this one, I think he's already like top 5 most appearances in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if he makes it to the next one, he might be like top 2 or something like that. I saw something like that. Yeah, absolutely not, dude. Like he should not be playing for the national Mexico. Like he should not be playing for Mexico anymore. Like,
do you think he's a good like a good person to have, like just as like a mentor type thing, or do you think like it's even as a third stringer, it's time to have someone else?
So, at least from what some of the stuff I've read, he just doesn't want to give up the position. So that could like if that's true, like say it is true where he just doesn't want to give it up because like he just like maybe in a selfish like being a little bit selfish about it, like that's kind of toxic. So we shouldn't have that, or you shouldn't have that. You should know when to step down. And I think it's been his time for a while. Like he was great like in his prime, and like he plays like he made a lot of great saves for the team, but like I think he needs to know when to step down. I think the only problem is we don't really have anybody else. Like
that is a big problem.
Like maybe some of you America fans are gonna be like, oh, like let's put in Malagon. Like, dude, he just got scored on 4 times by Colombia a couple days ago. Like, and he made mistakes. Like, and he makes mistakes that like you can't make as a goalkeeper, especially in the World Cup setting. Mm-hmm. Like, and he's doing it in La Liga MX, let alone like you're playing Spain in like front of 50,000-60,000 people, you know, like dude, like we just don't have anybody. The younger dude that's playing for the under 20, like he's pretty good, and I think he's like another dude that we should be looking to putting into the first team and get some first team experiences along with a bunch of these other younger dudes that are like 18, 19. It's like we gotta like Mexico's really bad at building teams, dude. Like they just like we're talking about having a good balance. Like they never do that. Like you bring up way too many old like dudes that like are experienced, and like I get it, dude. Like we do need that, but we can't be playing like 35-year-olds and like 33-year-olds against like Spain, who's like the average age is probably gonna be like 22. You know,
yeah, Argentina's on the older side too.
Yeah, but they're good.
They have more of a balance, I think, too.
Yeah, and they're good. You know, like
oh man.
So like, I don't know. Like I think we can't fire Javier Aguirre anymore. Like it's also too late to an extent. But like, and I would like to be optimistic. I think if Mario was here, he'd be way more optimistic. But I'm pretty realistic, dude. And I don't see us even getting out of that group stage.
I guess they haven't put the groups out yet, right? So you know, there's still potential.
Dude, we could be playing fucking, I don't know, a bunch of like lower tier teams, and I think they'd struggle. Like we're struggling in friendlies, dude. Like,
well, the one thing with Mexico though is they always get out of the group stage. They just the issue is I think they lose in that first game, but they like I think Mario throws a stat out usually. It's like I think it was like a couple like 3 or 4 World Cups where they were the only team to get out every single of the group stage, but they always lose that first game.
Yeah, so like it's a big like if you grew up watching like La Selección or whatever, like you know like we call it it's like a curse, dude. Like like queremos llegar al quinto partido, dude, like the fifth game, like
Yeah.
that, like that's the goal,
Mhm.
because like we have never gotten to that or past that. So like, but yeah, I do remember like some of the World Cups, like consistently, like we were going to that fourth game and like just like shitting the bed. So, would have been great. I would love to see it, but like I just don't see it with the mentality that we have with as far as like not bringing up younger dudes. Like there's some dudes that are just not like fit for the national team or like a World Cup. Like Orbelin Pineda has done jack, dude, like for the team. Like but we have talented players, and I would like to be more optimistic, but it's just, dude, the projection is not looking so good.
We'll get Mario on the podcast with you. That way he'll be able to balance out your negativity
Yeah,
on the
dude,
team.
yeah. I'm hoping somebody listens to this in the Mexican national team and try to prove me wrong, dude. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Mr. Leo said we couldn't.
Yeah, I would like to see like Raúl Jiménez and Santi Jiménez just score bangers, dude. Like that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, some other people would probably say Santi sucks, but the guy's gonna break out. Like I guarantee it. He's gonna have a little breakout point, and then he's just gonna be on fire with AC Milan, I hope, and then carries on to the World Cup.
Hey, you never know, and we got our boy Irving Lozano. Big plug for SDFC. Who knows if he'll get called up for the World Cup? But
yeah, they haven't really called him up. Like I think they called him up on this last.
Yeah, they called him this
break,
last one,
but
and then the one before they called him up again, but he got injured. So yeah, big plug for our boy Irving Lozano, and it's crazy because we talk about the young kids like Gilberto Mora. Like you never know, man. I mean, this they have about I guess it's 6 months. It's not like a whole year for them to get that much older. But you mentioned a little bit about Liga MX and like obviously like America and I think that same mentality is with them. Something I found really interesting is that Liga MX and MLS are like the only leagues, and I don't know if this always happens, but they don't have do they not align with the international break? Because I saw that Liga MX is still playing currently, and then so is MLS. MLS we already knew when we've talked about on the podcast about how in my opinion I think for them to become like a big league or comparable to the like top 5, 6, 7 leagues, they're going to have to align to at least the international breaks. That way their players can go, and then you still have a good product, back home. But I didn't realize that Liga MX was like that too.
No, they didn't have any matches. I know they had some friendlies, but like official like league matches, they didn't have any. I know there was a couple friendlies, like Cruz Azul played Pumas, and there was a couple other ones elsewhere. But yeah, I was just talking to my dad about that because I was tripping too. I was like, because usually they take the break, and I was like, I thought they took breaks. He's like, yeah, like those are just friendlies. So
okay, that's what threw me off then.
But yeah, we've chatted about the MLS for sure, not taking those breaks. And I think we talked about it where like we lost a bunch of players for SDFC, and then we lost that match, and we're just like that needs to change, which I totally agree. Like that needs to be a change where they line it up or take a break, and it might have to do with how many matches they have, but like if La Liga and the Premier League do it, then you should be able to do it as the MLS. You're playing just as many matches.
Yeah, and
arguably a lot less matches technically without Champions League and all that stuff, but like you're not having to reschedule or like figure out that many more matches to I guess spread out or figure out scheduling.
Yeah, and it looks like the MLS did have like kind of like at least the SDFC had that almost international break because they played lastly on October 4th and they play again this Saturday. But something I found really funny was I saw that Messi was with the Argentina team like training and stuff. He went to Miami, played a game, scored 2 goals, and then went back to training, which is like such a messy thing to do. You're like, bro, come over here, just destroy everyone in MLS, and then just like, all right, I'm going back now.
That's funny, dude. I didn't even see that. Like, was he actually called up, or was he just hanging out?
Yeah, he got called up, and then I think he brought some of his like Argentina like teammates were there. So I saw some pictures with him like on the sidelines with the players, and
That's
I'm just
funny.
like, this is like only Messi could do this, just
Yeah.
like come out like, oh yeah, I'm training with the team. I'll be right back. Let me go score a couple goals, and then go back to training.
Yeah, I wonder if another player did that, would there be like a bunch of like smack talking on like social media?
Well,
You know?
I think right now it's interesting because it's just friendlies, right? So like at least it's like it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I think you get that. Everyone doesn't care until stuff goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
If they would have lost or Inter Miami would have lost, and like, oh well, Messi's not fully in here or whatever. And if like Argentina loses this next match, then it's like, well, it's because he left from concentrations and went to here and this and that. So like we said, it's all fine until it's not fine.
Yeah, or like he gets injured or something, like
Oof.
you know.
Dude, if you got injured, that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
I feel like this has been the like international break of injuries. Like there's been so many injuries. Like I think I just saw Lewandowski got injured, and
there was quite a few, dude.
yeah, I know Real Madrid had a couple injuries, but it's like that's like the worst because you're just thinking like, well, these are friendlies, man, and like we talked about it a little bit last week.
Like
about
I think France, like Mbappe scored in the first match, and now he's injured, and like, dude, it's what a mess.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess, but I guess better now than when the World Cup comes, I guess. But
Yeah, like going back to like what we were talking about last week, like I forgot that it was just friendlies. Like it wasn't like I don't even know what.
Well, I think there were friendlies last week, and then this week now it's like World Cup qualifying and other stuff. I think there's still some friendlies, but I think that first week was friendlies.
Because for friendlies, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going, dude. Like whatever, like, but because you used to like not see that as much, like where they wouldn't call up like every single starter. Like you would call a couple up like here and there, and then like that should be like the time of where like you're building. So like you should be looking at other dudes like who could be like your backups, your like your bench players, like dudes like just start seeing how they play or whatever, like, and manage different systems. But like with Mexico, like we keep calling up like literally probably the first squad, and like we keep getting crushed, dude. And we're like, Jesus Christ.
Well, I think like on the flip side of that though, Leo, it's like interesting that like the national team coaches don't really have that much time to work with these players because like these international breaks, like 1-2 weeks now, and then like in December there's like another little one, and there's a little one again before the World Cup. But then it's like a lot of these players that are playing like deep Champions League or things like that, they're essentially playing up until like a week or two before the World Cup, and then they're going to the World Cup. So it's like if they don't call them up now, like how do they build that chemistry? And then do you have a situation like maybe Brazil's going through or England's gone through in the past where it's like you have all these great players that play for their respective teams great, but then they just have no chemistry on the field.
Yeah, I agree. I was just like,
but then you have to have a balance, right? So it's it's like your damage do, your damage you don't, right?
That's got to be like such a tough job, like being a manager for the coach for the national team. But like, yeah,
a tough job, but also probably like an easy job because I mean, I don't know, what do you think they do when they're not the 2 weeks like in the next like 4 months that they're actually coaching? The rest of the time, I guess, they're just scouting probably.
Dude, no, they have scouts. They send dudes out. Like I really don't know like what they do. I could tell you Javier Aguirre doesn't do nothing. But the other dudes, I really don't know what they do, to be quite honest.
You were hating on the Mexican team, man.
The coach, like, it's his second time coaching, and he sucks, dude. Like, it's just, like, he had a good stand. He was, like, in a pretty solid standing, and then now it's just, like, I'm over it. Like, he just makes really bad decisions, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Some people like him, but I think overall, thumbs down. Like, we should have had somebody else. Like, I think Rafa Marquez should have been our head coach, like 100%.
Yeah, but he's the kind of guy that maybe it ends up being too early for him, and he doesn't do well, and then it's like you just wasted like potential like talent,
Well, there's like the initial thought was like get Javier Aguirre because he's coached the team before, and then Rafa is his assistant, so like that way he's learning, and then supposedly this is supposed to go through the World Cup, and then after that, Javier Aguirre is gonna take a step back, and Rafa Marquez is gonna be head coach.
Yeah, and then you have some sort of continuity.
Yeah,
right.
But dude, Rafa Marquez is gonna get us a World Cup one day. I hope.
It wasn't as a player, so maybe as a coach, right?
Yeah,
maybe it'll come back. But yeah, the last plug, we got our STFC, like we just mentioned. They are going to be playing this weekend. It is the final game of the season. I feel like it's been so long in their inaugural season. The Western Conference, they're in second place right now, with Vancouver leading them. So we need Vancouver to lose, and obviously us to beat Portland on Saturday in order to solidify that home field advantage, at least through the Western Conference final. Assuming that Vancouver obviously doesn't make it, but like we said, maybe we don't even need that. Maybe it'll be fine since we play so well away from home.
Yeah. Hopefully that's like the edge we need right there, dude.
Yeah, but it is crazy. It is really tight at the top. We have Vancouver with 63 points, then STFC with 60, but then it's like LAFC 59, and then Minnesota 58. So like if we lose and LAFC and Minnesota win, that could see us drop from second to fifth or fourth, I guess. Which that is a little bit concerning. It's kind of crazy because I feel like we were in first place pretty handily there even like a month and a half ago, but then we lost a lot of these really close matches.
I think we lost like 2 or 3 in a row, and it was like matches that we should have won.
Yeah.
Just like going off of like us being in first place, these teams were like down towards the bottom, and like Dynamo is like a good example, dude. Like that one hurt. Like they're 12th place right now, like, and we lost to them. Like that should have been the win.
Yeah.
And that we shouldn't be in this situation where we could possibly end up in fourth, or we should be fighting for first place. Like we should have dusted Vancouver by like 6 points at least.
Yeah, and there was a point where we were there, right? We were right at that number, and we had them by like 5, 6, 7, 8 points, and then they just slowly came back. They kept winning games. We lost a couple of ones, like you said, some really easy ones. Not winning the games we're supposed to win, especially after that initial, like the beginning of the season.
It's a San Diego curse, dude.
No, don't start with that. I guess we'll see it. We'll see in the playoffs. Hopefully not, right? Knock on wood. But yeah, we'll see though.
But yeah, hopefully we beat Portland, right? Was it Portland?
Yeah, Portland.
And hopefully at least Dallas ties Vancouver, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean that's all we need. Then it'll be goal differential, but
actually not even a tie. We need them to lose.
Yeah, we need to lose. Yeah, and then goal differential to get us through. Hopefully. But yeah, so we'll talk about that next time on the pod. Mr. Leo, thank you again for filling in for Mario. Mario's just slacking 3 episodes in a row. Leaving me high and dry to host.
Like quick little last thing. So, talking about like Gilberto Mora again.
Mm-hmm.
So. This week, like we've been seeing a lot of like interest, like there's like huge interest from Real Madrid, like they want this dude.
Hey.
Like they really want him, but like there's several other teams, including Barca. Like those are probably like the top 2, like right. Luckily, he's a Madrid fan, but like I was listening to this other podcast, no names because we're not gonna plug them, but like. It was funny. They brought up a point of like the coach from or the president of Cholos, and like they asked him like, "Oh, like, would you take like 15 million for Gilberto?" And then he's like, "Dude, like, I wouldn't even, like 15 mil wouldn't even get you one of his legs right now." Oh. And like my first thought was like, "Dude, we always do this to the youngins," but I was also thinking, and I think we might have touched on this, but like. Dude, if he was Gilbertinho or, Gil Mora or, I don't know, dude, like Gilbert Moore, like this dude would be expensive.
Yeah.
Like guaranteed, like we've seen like dudes like Estevao, like Endrick, Mastantuono, they're like 40, 50, 60 million for these dudes. And like, and I don't necessarily think it's crazy that they're saying like 15 mils to of a low amount. Like I think I kind of agree that that's low, dude. Like for his potential, and the way he's playing, like he's playing lights out. Like Like he's literally the dude he was the dude for the under 20,
Mm-hmm.
and he's 16 years old. So like, yeah, like I just thought that was like a pretty interesting. Like
We'll see. I've seen figures of like 50 million going around and stuff, which like if he is who, if he turns out to be who we think he's going to be, it'll be cheap, right? 50 million will be cheap because he could be like Lamine Yamal kind of like version. Obviously, I think Lamine Yamal at 16 was already, starting for Spain and Barcelona and stuff, but like that kind of caliber. So for 50 million, that'd be cheap even for that. But like we had mentioned in the past, like I think a lot of people expect players to be the Lamine Yamals, the Ronaldos, the Messis of the world, and it's like there's far more. Like I said, there's far more Freddie Adus in the world than there are Lamine Yamals and Ronaldos. So I think the big tell is going to be like where does he get in like another year? Like by the time like the summer market comes around, like where's he at? And then even I think they're going to sell him this year. I don't see them putting it off after the World Cup. But yeah, how does he play in the World Cup? And then being able to determine when he's like 17, a little bit more mature, a little bit more competition, and see how that works. And I think if he pans out and he plays a good World Cup and has a good like end of the season for Cholos, honestly, like that. The World Cup always inflates transfer fees, man.
Oh,
always.
100%. Like I totally agree with that. And like, I was gonna touch on something, but I forgot. But yeah, dude, like the World Cup's gonna tell a lot, and we expect for players to be like that, Lamine Yamal, Messi, Ronaldo, right? But like people forget, like those are like once in a generation. Yeah. We were lucky to have Messi and Ronaldo in the same generation.
Yeah,
So I think that's an unrealistic expectation, but you look at dudes like that were in the same generation as Messi and Cristiano. You have Toni Kroos, you have Modric, you had Iniesta. Like all those dudes are like world class talents, dude. Like and they weren't like, I feel like to an extent they weren't as appreciated as we should have, just because they were outshunned by these two other dudes. And I think that's where like Gilberto Mora like might stand. Like I don't know, like I'm just trying to like lower those expectations where like he's gonna be good. Like guarantee, like I'm not gonna be like, oh, this dude's gonna put up Cristiano or Messi numbers. Like, but like you have so many other dudes that are like overlooked. Like I think like players like De Bruyne are like so underrated, dude, and like those dudes are like magicians. So like I don't know. I think we shouldn't overhype it, but like we shouldn't be surprised if the dude, like, I don't know. I don't want to say what I want to say, dude. It's gonna be a hot take, but like I would love to see that dude like at a fucking Ballon d'Oro like ceremony. Like you just never know.
That's like the Mexican in you, right? Is like you want to see like someone from Mexico, like it's like Hugo Sanchez, Rafa Marquez. They've like made it to like the pinnacle of like soccer, right? So it's like having someone else
like reach that.
Yeah,
like,
we've had Rafa Marquez was like still within like stuff that we remember and like times that we can like look back on. But yeah, having like a player like that to just be like at like the pinnacle of soccer would be crazy.
Yeah, it would be amazing. Like the last dude to really do something like that, where like he really was shiny, was honestly Chicharito. Like Chicharito, like he was good. Like for the dude, like it's rare for at least a Mexican player to go from like the club you started at in Mexico to a big time club. So for him to go from like Chivas to Man United, instead of like sometimes you go from like, I don't know, Chivas to like Castilla and then maybe work like your way up.
Yeah, or like some other,
So like for him to go to the first team and then he was a starter at some point, like that's huge, right? So I think it happened with Hugo Sanchez, and then luckily it happened for Rafa Marquez. But like that's a strange thing. Usually they go to smaller teams or like second division teams, and then they like work their way up to like a bigger club. Like, but yeah, like hopefully like he's able to dude. It makes me really excited because he is good. It's just like hopefully he keeps that up and doesn't put too much pressure on himself, where he's just still like having fun with the game, right? So because at the end of the day, like right now he's a kid, he's having fun.
Yeah,
it's just he's really freaking good, you know. So
yeah, I mean, knock on wood. At the end of the day, like injuries is also another big thing. Like you just never know, people's careers get derailed with injuries. So yeah, hopefully he keeps playing well. And like I said, I think after the World Cup, it's going to be potentially a bidding war for him, and seeing, because he's I can't think of anybody else outside of like Lamine Yamal, but I think he's a little bit like in a different level right now as we speak than him.
Agree.
But like, there's not another player really that we're thinking about being kind of like that really young talent that's not already on like one of the big European teams. So
I think maybe like Estevao, like that dude's like
he's
on
in
track
Chelsea now. Yeah.
So like, but like as far as like
young talent. Yeah. So hopefully it'll break out. I think it's going to be an interesting World Cup. It'll have a lot of really, really old last hurrah, final dance.
Yeah.
And then it's going to have a lot of really young guys that are like trying to make their name in the world. So it'll be a nice balance, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It should be interesting. We'll see what they do with Gilberto, because that, like, whether they keep him for till then or sell him off, and then we'll see.
Yeah. I guess we'll never know until
we'll
never know until like in a couple months from now.
Yeah. Winter transfer market, I think there's one, right? Or
I really don't see it that early before a World Cup year. I feel like it also wouldn't make sense.
Crazy. Yeah. I don't think it makes sense for him either.
Yeah, got to stay consistent, and then so he can play on the Mexican team this summer, and hopefully prove you wrong and make it to the fifth or sixth match.
Hopefully the sixth match, dude.
Oh man! All right, well that's all we have for today's episode. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate being part of our day, talking soccer and hanging out. Remember, you can find us on Instagram, X at _thepitchreport. I'm Amilcar.
And this is Mr. Leo.
Thank you again, Mr. Leo, for helping us out, bridging the gap here for 3 weeks.
When do I sign my contract here?
Oh, man, you're a free agent. I think you might have to stay that way. But I do see a couple cameos, more consistent cameos coming your way. Appreciate you. Thank you, guys.